maybe mine are lost, or maybe they're rolling around in my head looking for a place to land, or maybe not. My daughters tell me to get tested. Tested for what, I ask, even though I know for what, but it's for what I don't want to know. So I let the marbles roll around in a swirl of distracting colors because I don't want to listen to them, the daughters, because if I hear them, I will be very afraid. And this mother cannot be that mother, not ever, never.
Sylvia and me.
Sylvia and me.
Hi, I'm Sylvia Beckerman, host of the podcast series Sylvia and Me, conversations with extraordinary, inspiring women.
I'm Eugenia Zukerman, and I'm delighted to be here today.
Eugenia, thank you so much for joining me on Sylvia and Me. And just for a little background, you're an internationally known flautist, author, and advocate for those with Alzheimer's. You were the arts correspondent on CBS Sunday Morning, which I love, for 25 years, and the artistic director of the Vail Valley Music Festival in Colorado for 13 years. You're the author of numerous articles, screenplays, and books, and you've recently written a book called Like Falling Through a Cloud, a lyrical memoir of coping with forgetfulness, confusion, and a dreaded diagnosis about your own battle with Alzheimer's. I definitely want to get into your book, your poems, which is all about you. And ever since you received the diagnosis, the name of the book is Like Falling Through a Cloud. The first poem in there is Like Falling Through a Cloud. And when you got your diagnosis, you went home and instead of crying, you said you started writing.
Yes. I got back from the hospital where I had been diagnosed, and one of my daughters had dragged me there. And I got home, and we were laughing all the way home, and got up to my apartment, got into the apartment, went to my desk and stared at the wall for a minute. And for some reason, I picked up a pencil and started writing. And that's just what happened.
And it wasn't that you just started writing fictional, or you started writing thoughts that were coming to you. This actually is a book of you going through from the diagnosis to treatment, to therapy, to dealing with moving and all of what you are going through. And yet everything you do there's a positivity and a moving forward. You have not let this degenerate of cognitive degeneration stop you from being positive.
I didn't know what I was doing. All I know was that something was wrong. My daughter said something was wrong, and I had to, get tested. And once I did, I went up to my apartment and sat at my desk and stared at the wall for a while. And then for some reason, I don't know why, I just picked up a pencil and started writing. And it just, I feel as if it was a gift to me. I don't know how that happened. And maybe the best way to express myself with that is to tell you in words from the book.
I'd love you to.
Good.
So which one are you going to read for us right now?
Marbles.
Which I love because it has... Why don't you read it, and then maybe we could talk about it. It will probably tell us why you wrote it.
I'm going to read Marbles.
Okay.
Mm. Maybe mine are lost, or maybe they're rolling around in my head looking for a place to land, or maybe not. My daughters tell me to get tested. Tested for what, I ask, even though I know for what, but it's for what I don't want to know. So I let the marbles roll around in a swirl of distracting colors because I don't want to listen to them, the daughters, because if I hear them, I will be very afraid. And this mother cannot be that mother, not ever, never. Words is another,
Go right ahead.
Okay.
Because it just tells, each one tells the story as you were going through from getting the diagnosis. So go right ahead.
Words, they taunt me, tease me, test me when I fail to find them. I know they're hiding somewhere in the dark realm of my cerebellum, floating around, mocking, sneering, shouting, catch me, remember me, speak me. Sometimes it's wise to wait for one word or the kernel of the word to explode like popcorn and leap onto my tongue, bringing others with it, stringing a sentence together for me to speak. And I say it, all the words in the right order, spilling out of my mouth. And my brain asks me, okay, was that so freaking hard? You don't have to tell me. This is is it okay to?
Yes, yes, okay. Because we will talk, in between, but go right ahead. And then there's one in particular that I'd like you, but go ahead with the next one.
You don't have to tell me. I am no dope. I see how my family notes my lapses and losses of appropriate words or a name or the date. And it makes me fretful to be forgetful, so I try to hide it. But it's out there, the lapses and losses, which escalate slowly, absurdly, inevitably. And I know there is not a cure for my fragile mind. But being no dope, I will try to find the best way to cope. And I won't dance the woe is me or bathe in a tub of self-pity. I am not suited to it. I simply will not do it. I will find a way, my own way, which is the only way to survive.
Before you read the next one, which is Taking Stock or So You Know, it's one of the poems that you read to some of the groups. I know you talk at Alzheimer's Association events and groups, and you specifically read Taking Stock or So You Know. Could you go ahead and read this particular one?
Sure. Taking stock, or so you know. I am a woman, 72 years old. I have two wonderful daughters, a husband I adore, lovely grandchildren. I'm lucky to still have a vibrant career in the arts as a flutist, writer, artistic director of major music series, television journalist, educator, and internet entrepreneur. And despite a little glitch with my memory, this is the happiest time of my life. I won't joke about my old-timer's disease, nor will I call it early you-know-what. I am determined to remain centered and in control and devoted to finding a way, my own way, to be able to say and to mean what I want to convey. And as long as I'm allowed to stay, I pledge to fight with all my might to keep the darkness at bay.
Now, when you read that, what do people say to you? What do some of the people that you are talking to and reading this to, what do they say to you? What do they come up to you after you've read this, and what is their reaction?
Well, I find very positive reactions, and most do not believe I can stay positive, but I am positive. Keeping positive, I never sat down and said, oh, I better be positive. It just felt the right thing for me. when I had gone to the hospital and come back and was at my desk looking at the wall, thinking, whoa, this is really something I have to deal with. But I never felt like, oh God, I have to deal with this. I just somehow, I don't know how I made it positive. And I can't say I'm just a positive person. I never thought I'm a positive person, but I think perhaps it was simply that, you know, when it was shoved in my face, I had two choices. One was to cry and run away, and the other was to say, hey, let's see what this is all about. And I'm glad I took the right road for myself, which was to say, let me find out what this is about. And here I am. How many years passed? Three. I am 3 years into it. And I find it more and more interesting. It's not about me anymore. You know, I don't think what's going to happen tomorrow. It never is that. It is, gosh, you know, I feel very lucky that I don't have to get to a desk and have a, you know, I don't have to have a real routine. I'm very lucky that I'm able to do this and to think about things and to take the things that I think about and put them onto the paper. And it is a real joy for me to write. It's I can truly say I have never sat down to be writing the book, you know, trying to drag it out of myself. It was always sitting down and, oh, what can I say now? You know, how can I express myself now? It was a gift to me that I could sit down and whatever I was feeling, I could express myself and perhaps understand myself better by doing that. So,
well, it turns out it's not only a gift to you. What you have, the gift that you have given to so many people who are dealing with Alzheimer's, whether they have it or they are close to somebody who has it, you have given them hope. It's not a death sentence. It's not, look at what you're doing. You're sticking to your creativity. You're still doing, I believe you're still doing some concerts. I know that, yeah, I know you are. I did my research because it was so interesting. In fact, you just recently, you were at the Radically Reframing Aging event. And didn't you do the, you read the closing at this 5-day event?
yes, I did. Yes.
Right. And it's, you've chosen to remain creative, and your message is positivity and hope.
Yes.
And that is huge.
You know, you have two choices when this happens to you. And I don't know that the choices are thought about. You know, it's like someone threw mud in my face and I didn't have a choice. And I had, the only choice I had was to be angry and cry, or wipe the mud off and start again, think again, figure it out. I mean, there are 3 phases of this disease, and I'm in the first phase, which allows me to keep living very actively. And I'm glad that I'm still in the first part. And I think I don't wake up in the morning and say, oh, I'm in the first part. I'm in the first part. But I just keep going because that's what's been given me. And what's been given me, I have, you know, when something's been, basically someone threw pie in my face, you know.
Here you go.
Look at it. And you have a choice. You can be furious, you can be upset, you have to deal with something like this. And especially when you have the mud in your face, you wipe it off. And you have to find a way. I mean, unlike so many terminal diseases, Alzheimer's has no physical pain. There is no physical pain. I'm not going to say it's fun,
well,
but it's not pain. And in fact, because it isn't pain, it gives me a chance to look at it almost at a distance, because I'm not sitting here angry and steaming. I'm sitting here thinking, this is where I am, and this is what I'm doing. Here I am in the third, what is it called? First phase, my first phase. Yeah. And I'm just like every person or every writer, I'm just doing it. I'm not, I don't have an end game. I think about that. I don't have an end game. I just think it's going to keep going. And I don't think about that either. But it's, I don't wake up in the morning and think, oh, this hurts and that hurts, or oh gosh, I have to do this or that. I maybe for some strange reason, it has made me a happier person, because I know that, when you think you have the whole life ahead of you, that's one way of having lived my life. But I just now feel I know that there's going to be an end game, but I'm living my life every day. That's what I feel every day.
And you're sending that message to so many people. Well, there've been studies about music, how music is in so many ways helpful, that people who have music in their lives are more, I was going to use the word fulfilled, so I can't think of a better word, but you have music. And I know that you saw someone playing at an orchestra at the flute when you were 10 years old, and that got you hooked on it. And ever since, you've been playing. Does that...
Yeah, sorry.
No, does that give you, is that a huge outlet in addition to the poetry?
Oh, it's enormous. I wake up in the morning and I have my other with me, and the other is my flute. I roll out of bed, do my floor exercises, and get up and start playing the flute. The flute is my other, and it is with me constantly. And there's a strong relationship between music and memory. And I think that I'm very lucky that I've been able to make music and hear music and express myself through music. And I can do it through other people, because it's not, I don't write music. I play other people's music when I'm, performing, etc. But there's a way in which, Tony Bennett is a good example of what music can do to memory. And when he's gone, he's still here with us.
That's right. That's right. What else would you like to give me? Another one of your poems in the book that really resonate. Well, all of them resonate. How about another one?
Getting it together. I've made a date with my banker because I hanker to know where things stand when it comes to what I'll hand to my next of kin. So I should begin to keep track of stuff to see if there is enough to pass around when I'm under the ground. I'm not being dramatic, but I can no longer be static about what lies ahead when I'm dead, which oddly I do not dread. Instead, I want to avoid leaving a mess for the family to assess. I'd like them to say she left it this way to keep trouble at bay and to avoid a fray. I don't expect to croak at midnight's stroke, but I don't want to be 103, which my mother has achieved. I will stick with the plan I've made with my man. When the time seems right, we will have the delight of donning deer suits on the first day of hunting, and we'll go out in the fields and wait to meet our fates. Only I hope the hunters know how to shoot straight.
I agree with you. One of the ones, a couple of more further on, anxiety is inconvenient. That title is fantastic. Would you like to read that?
Did I write that?
Yes, you did. It's on page 71.
Okay. Hang on a sec, we'll get there, page 71. It is so inconvenient, isn't it?
I'm telling you.
Here we go. Anxiety is inconvenient. I try to be lenient on myself when I'm in a twist about this and that. I should make a list about ways to avoid self-flagellation and constant agitation. I should be able to grapple with life in the apple and existence upstate. It would be great if I could just relax instead of bracing for attacks and worrying about cracks in my brain, which is a pain. Maybe what the shrink says is right. I need a variety of strategies to fend off my endless anxieties. So I'll go back for another session and hope it yields a good lesson.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Let me read, if you don't mind, the last poem in the book, because it says
it's wonderful. Go right ahead.
A super sunny Sunday, almost August, and the tomatoes are bulging on their vines. The flowers continue to burst toward the sky in colors that astound, while on the ground our once hearty kale has been ripped out by rabbits who attack at dawn and are gone in a flash, leaving the crop tattered and torn. Nothing lasts forever, not kale or tomatoes or cucumbers or the glorious flowers that fill our fields or the people we adore. And though I know my days are numbered, I feel unencumbered by thoughts of my demise. I do not embrace my inevitable decline, but I'm determined to find a way to make the rest of my stay on this problematic planet filled with light and love and music. As for the deer suit I promised to don, I don't think I'll put it on. Not now, not yet. I'm not ready. I feel steady. And I have a strategy to keep on keeping on, which is wake up, fetch the flute, summon up syrinx, give thanks for another day, and then play on, play on, play on.
That's what you're doing. And that is what you're doing. And I do want to read something that someone said. Eugenia Zukerman reminds us of the delicate balance between human fragility and resilience. And that was Yo-Yo Ma. I mean, how wonderful. Eugenia, if you had something that you wanted to say to people out there who are dealing with this and are scared and really don't know where to turn, and what would you like to tell them?
I'm thinking only because each of us are so different. Yes. And there's such a wide range of people, those who are angry, those who are happy, those who are magnanimous, those who are pains in the ass. You know, everybody is so different. I just feel that you have to stay positive no matter what. I think when you have a diagnosis and they tell you you're going to die in 10 days, perhaps, you know, something like that. And I'm just making this up at the moment. And I'm thinking, what would it, if my husband said you're going to die in 10 days? I probably would think to myself, wow, that, yeah, I don't know. I think I might, you know, compress it all and try to think positive. And I would say, it's been great, thanks. You know, I don't really know, but you get to know the Alzheimer's Association. And I think it's, if someone that you know said I've been diagnosed, I would say to them, get to know the association, because there is so much help there. There are so many ways in which you can reach out and be helped, and I think that is crucial. One of the things that I have been enjoying so much for a number of years now is that I read to groups of people online and talk to them about what they're feeling and what they're doing. And I feel that I have all these friends that talk to me and I talk to them. They help me so much. And I think we're very lucky, and I can't tell you how important I think it is for people who are going through it. I say going through because so many people say who are suffering. I have to say I don't use the word that I'm suffering, and I think that it would be great if people who have this diagnosis get suffering out of it. Because yes, of course, it is something that you have to suffer through, but I think it's important to, I think it's helpful to get that out of your, what's the word? Vocabulary.
Yes.
Do not say, I tell myself, I get out of bed, I roll on the floor, I do my exercises, and it actually goes across my eyes and it says, seize the day.
I love it.
And that's what you've got to do. No one's going to do it for you.
Exactly. Exactly. And Eugenia, you have a website.
Do I? Yeah. Oh, I guess I do.
I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Dick, but I believe it's eugeniazukerman.com.
That's correct.
Okay. Because yes, you have a website and it's great. It has so much on there, and it has a lot of your interviews, your past interviews from years ago. And it also has information about your book and a new poem that you wrote about bruised fruit, I believe.
I remember that, yeah.
So, Eugenia, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. And I can't wait for my listeners to hear our conversation because it's so uplifting. And I think the message that you're giving out there to others, and also the role model you are for your children and your grandchildren. I know you have grandchildren. I just had my first grandchild. Yeah. How many do you have?
We have 3.
I have 1, but I'll take the 1 right now. He's 5.5 months old. So there you go. I thank you so much This has been, it's been a pleasure. It's really been a pleasure. And I will continue to follow what you're doing because I think it's absolutely amazing.
Thank you so much.
You can find us on all of your popular podcast platforms. And of course, our website, sylviaandme.com. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned.